I'm trying to keep these videos short because I'm aware that I'm on a computer that keeps breaking and I don't want to keep losing that. But yeah, I think that needs to happen. Like I was saying, because I don't think the Muslims are going to be that interested in me at all because their religion has absolutely nothing to do with me. But at the same time, when I also another thought I had was when the rapture starts happening, and you tell Christians that Anna is Christ, but Jesus is well, you could say he's AJ Miller and that he's just a preacher, but really he's not God, and God is just something that creates the universe and has, God made the whole universe, and people are not going to believe that I made the universe. They're not going to believe that I made the timeline either. But if you start telling people about me, that's going to start screwing with their mind because they're going to start realizing that otherworldly creatures do exist, because why, that's me. I don't know how you're going to expose it. I mean, I guess years ago I thought it was going to be in a Big Brother starred house, but I'm really really angry now, and I don't know though, because if I was in a house and if I was just isolated from people, maybe I'd be isolated from being angry because I don't like people any longer. And if I'm not seeing people, and if I'm just living in some sort of house with some sort of robot talking to me, or some humans talking to me through a microphone, I felt like that might actually help me not be angry at people, because I don't know why you've chosen to ignore me for 13 years, to have to sit back and listen to all these Allah is great, Allah is great, whilst Allah is actually in a bedroom trapped, not being able to do anything because no one believes her, no one cares about her, no one wants to help her, no one, if these if these people really wanted to do what Allah wants, they would do what I want, which is to not ignore me for 13 years. So, to have to go through this with Christians and just any religious person, basically, any religious person who goes on about how they know God when they don't, because it's me. And I can't talk to these people, or I can't get through to them because they're too busy believing whatever the beliefs they have in their head, and they just see that as the truth, and they don't want, I'm really angry at all religious people. But yeah, I think you need to say that the Galactic Federation has been contacting them. Say that they have found this girl who is evidence that the other worlds exist. I don't think you'll be able to use much proof to prove that the other worlds exist, but you could say that you've been doing channeling, and then you could create AI images of what these different worlds are like. If you have, I know all the leaders seem to be like not against, they seem to be against each other, Arabs, Muslims, Arabs, Christian, or America and Europe and China as well. I mean, and Russia. There seems to be a belief that there's the third world going to happen, and it's going to be against China and Russia, and I don't believe that, but. I don't know what you've been doing, but I don't know who knows about me though. That's the thing. But I know that if all these leaders, or if a lot of these leaders, start getting together, and start saying to people that yes, the Galactic Federation have been contacting us, and we have come up with technology on how to transport souls to these things through some sort of matrix. First you need to prove to the world that we are living in a matrix, and we are living in a timeline, and we are living in, and the only way you can do that, the only way you can prove to people that we're living in some sort of computer, some sort of 5D 10D computer, or whatever, 7D computer, is to prove through me, and therefore I am the key to proving that the Galactic Federation is really, that's not proof. Really, me being able to do the timeline and write the timeline does prove that we're living in the Matrix. It does prove that that there's a computer system that I can sort of manipulate, and I know exactly all the buttons that I'm clicking on. I know when I send down videos to the computer that I happen to be on, I know exactly what video I'm watching, and when it comes to all the side videos, I know exactly what side videos. Obviously my higher self can control what videos come on the side, because this is how I'm having a conversation. I'm watching a video from an artist, naming them, and then I'm seeing a video on the side, and or sometimes usually it's the first one, but sometimes it's the second, sometimes it's the third. But my eyes get drawn to a certain video, and I click on it, and then I find that it actually relates to the post, because I take that video, post it on Facebook, and then take another one and post it. And I've been having a conversation like that, with the dinosaurs, seeing that there was a joke clip of the dinosaurs and these flights of migration, people making a joke out of how people migrating back out of England to foreign countries is similar to the dinosaurs, and they do migrate. And it was a clip, but the next video that I happened to look was on that I've that I've group that I've just been, so I had just been talking about their I've group, and then I found that dinosaur post, and then I found another one of their songs, and I had no idea what the song was, and I clicked on it, and it seemed to link to the dinosaur post that I just made. So, you know, and you could just say, oh, it's just a coincidence or something. It's not, because I was literally just talking about this band before that dinosaur post, and I don't know how my higher self is doing this, but one thing that when it happens, I feel like it's too powerful for me. Like a part of me feels like I don't think it's just me that's doing it. I mean, making all these songs, making all these videos, linking them to, I mean, it feels like there's a whole group of people doing it. I mean, I don't believe that. I do not believe that. I believe that I've done 70 timelines before, and then there's this. But why am I in a prison? Why have I put myself in some sort of prison for the last 12 years? I don't understand. I don't understand why I'm in a prison. And I don't understand why I seem to have so much power, and yet I don't seem to have the power to get anyone to actually talk to me about this. And it's very, very frustrating. And I can't tell anyone on the streets because none of them believe me. And so I feel like I'm a completely different species, but my species is so advanced that I can't talk to anyone in this planet because they're all too stupid, and all of them, every single one of them are too dumb to believe that something like this is possible. But I know that if the government were to say that actually someone is on Earth and their spirit is time traveling and forming the Earth and forming the whole timeline, this is going to change everyone's perspective on how they see things, on how they see life. They're going to realize that we are living in a matrix, that this is some sort of 3D simulation that's all been controlled by one person, but they're not going to believe it's one person. Sometimes I find it hard to believe it's one person. I mean, technically, if I've done this 70 times, I've probably got a track record of what I've done. I've probably got my Facebook page, or this is the Facebook page that I made in the first timeline, or the second timeline, and the third timeline. And so maybe I'm just recreating all these conversations that I've had. That's what I feel like I'm doing. Like every conversation that I've had is actually just taking the conversations that I've had on past planets and then just recreating them, finding ways to time travel and to recreate them. And it's quite complicated and it's quite hard, but I feel like it makes sense to me. But at the same time, I feel like maybe it is too complicated just for me. And maybe there is like a whole bunch of other people that are helping me. They're seeing what I'm posting and they're the ones that are time traveling. And that is what people are going to believe. Part of me is thinking that it's the truth. Maybe there's a truth. I don't believe there's truth to it. I do not believe there's truth to it, because it's just like, it's so overwhelming and so complicated that a part of me thinks that maybe it's not just me, but that's what they're going to be thinking. If you start showing people evidence that I'm time traveling, that I'm taking lots of songs throughout, making them some 13 years ago, some 1 year ago, some a few months ago, I'm taking all these things and then I'm organizing them so that when I see them, I post them and I can have a conversation through them, but they're not going to think that one person is capable of doing that. So if you tell people that the Galactic Federation is here and that there's a person from another world here and that we're in a house, and then I don't want to do the Big Brother thing, but at the same time I feel like there needs to be something like that. But I don't know, I want a little bit more privacy, and I do not want cameras in the toilet. Don't do that. And then I don't know, but you prove to the people that we're living in a matrix, that I'm from a different world. They're not going to believe that I'm capable of doing this all by myself. They're going to think that it's a Galactic Federation. And then you could say, well, this is proof that the Galactic Federation is real. And this is when you're going to start being able to get Muslims and Christians interested to want to go through to the portal. This is when they're going to start believing that this technology to get to other planets is real. They'll only start believing it after you've shown the proof that I can time travel, because that's going to sort of mess up their whole worldview.